Alright, continuing on. Here we go with mounting up the power transmission arm hanging here on the edge of the pallet. That's been reassembled. Here are our parts. Here's the two caps for the bearings. This is the pivot sleeve that the arm actually pivots on. And here's the shaft that the pulley for the belt will go on to later. I didn't bring the pulley up. I'll have to go get that and put it on later. But for now we're going to mount up the arm, and we're also going to turn this guy around the way he should be. Okay, continuing on, we're going to pull this slide off and turn him around. I'm going to go ahead and take this arrestor pin out and then do it the right way. There's always time and money to do it right the second time, isn't there? Well, sometimes you got to pay attention to details from the onset, and then you can save yourself steps like this. So anyway, here we go. Now that is on the right way. The pin, since how the bevel is this way, we'll have to go in like so. Pushing in. And now insert screw. And all is well. Okay, moving on. Go ahead and shove that on there a little further. Now, then we'll bring you around to show you how we're going to mount up the pivot arm. If I can find my remote. Okay, we're going to start with the pivot arm itself. It's got to mount up on this sleeve. One of the things I wanted to show you here, this is a toolmaker's machine. I tell you, it's been an absolute pleasure working on this thing so far. The tolerances in it are tight, but not too tight. The people that designed this thing, all I can say is, man, you guys did an outstanding job. It's a far cry from the Chinese junk from Grizzly that I've owned in the past and had the displeasure of working on. This thing is going together like a dream, and when it does, you can tell there is workmanship in the machine. Anyway, this little bearing sleeve has a lip on it out here where it uses the outer race of the bearing to seat the sleeve in the fork here. And I'm going to put a little dab of Wienerschleider on into the pivot arm here. By the way, I talked to Stefan about the grease that goes in there, and for those of you who don't have a contact or an owner's manual, it uses lithium grease. That was one question I had, because these things turn at pretty high RPMs, and I couldn't fathom for the life of me that standard grease was going to be used in these. Oh, get back here. So I'm going to put a little dab of liquid love. Now this goes in here like this. Now, you wouldn't know it. I need a rag, and I ain't got one with me. I'm gonna have to go get one. Okay, and we're back. Let's see, we got a little bit of weasel snot here in the bearing housing, so we're gonna use what we have at hand. In this case, a little dab of gasoline. A little dab will do you to wash out the weasel snot. That way our bearing will slide back in where it's supposed to be and seat a little easier. This stuff is being a little tough. Okay, and here we go. Lay that up there on the table. Stick that up there. And we're in, like a herd of turtles. There's that, a turd of hurdles. Okay. Now, for now, even though these get lithium grease, we're going to give them a little dab of oil so they're not going in completely dry. They were washed in diesel, but I don't like sticking dry bearings in machinery, and I certainly don't like sticking bearings in dry holes. It does make for a tougher removal later on if you don't have some kind of inner slider on it. Here. Okay, our bearing is a little crooked. And we'll start in. There we go. Whoa, don't want to be doing that. Okay. Alrighty. Get that guy started. And now we have, whoa, don't do that, klutzo. There we go. So now we can put on our cap. Well, that figures. Okay, now we're going to use the special spanner wrench here, even though it's not complete. But we're going to turn this cap in a little further. It is a backing for the bearing. So now we can tap this in a little further. on the shaft. And now take our other cap. It's in there far enough to where we can get the cap started into it and use the cap to preload the bearing. And yes, I will finish this wrench. I was going to show the initial stages of it, but I didn't have my camera with me that day at work. So I went ahead and just stuck in some pins last night so that I had use of it for today, since I had the day off today. If you can just see where you're going. And this cap presses down on the outer race of the bearing as well. Now we have, albeit a little stiff, now to stick on the pulley, and on it goes. Washer, nut. So we don't have an impact wrench, we'll have to improvise. There, that should hold. And there we have our part done for today. I'm going to zoom you out here and we'll put on the rope as it was intended. Okay, this is a multi-pulley system. Here's the drive rope from the bottom, and here's the one that goes to the arm itself. And we'll just start it out on any old pulley, any shiv here on the pulley. Oops, we're a pain in the butt. Now there's a knurled disc here where this rides in, this little fork. Get it to stay on. Okay, I got my rope backwards here. This one goes on like a yay. This one like so. Appears we have a seizure. Because this thing should, by all rights, move, and it doesn't. There we go, we got some movement. A little trusty dusty sewing machine oil here. we go. Now we got movement again. This little girl's in some desperate need of some TLC from ways of corrosion removal, let me tell you. But we'll get her. We'll get her fixed up. So, now we'll throw this back on. There we go. Okay, now I see why this shiv over here is worn out. We do have some funky movement here. I'm not sure if that's entirely what the inventor had in mind. We're going to go ahead and give him a couple of drops of oil up here, even though there's supposed to be grease in there. We just need some kind of lubrication for right now so that the thing doesn't rust up on me. So now we have a functioning pantograph arm again. Power transmission to the top. The next step is going to be getting the motor mounted to the plate and the plate mounted to the base and the thing put back together. Then after that, we've got the table here, which is sad to see. You can pull this thing back and forth. Well, I guess not. Yes, you can. The bolts to the crank here is sheared off. And of course, this poor old crank has got to come off too. So anyway, that's our episode of Deckel Resurrection for the day. And we hope to see you again soon.